Did you know Colombia is the second most biodiverse country on Earth? From the misty peaks of the Andes to the dense emerald depths of the Amazon, Colombia is home to an astonishing array of plants and animals, many found nowhere else on the planet. Its landscapes are as varied as its people, offering a breathtaking tapestry of life and color. Snow-capped Andes, Amazon rainforests, Caribbean coasts. This nation is a world of contrasts. Each region tells its own story, shaped by geography, history, and culture. Colombia's natural beauty is matched only by the diversity of its traditions and the warmth of its people. Yet for decades, headlines have focused on conflict and danger, missing the vibrant reality beneath. The world often sees only the struggles, overlooking the daily lives, dreams, and achievements of millions of Colombians who are building a new future. Colombia's story in 2026 is not just about its scars, but about resilience, transformation, and hope. Communities are coming together to heal, to celebrate their heritage, and to create opportunities for the next generation. The spirit of renewal is visible everywhere, from bustling cities to remote villages. We'll explore the current political climate, the impact of Venezuela's crisis, and the cultural achievements that define Colombia today. From government reforms to the rhythms of cumbia and vallenato, Colombia is navigating change while holding on to its identity. This is a nation at a crossroads, facing its future with both caution and optimism. Every day, Colombians make choices that shape the direction of their country, balancing hope with the lessons of the past. To understand Colombia, we must look beyond stereotypes and listen to the stories of its 52 million people. Each voice adds a new layer to the nation's identity, revealing a society that is as complex as it is inspiring. Let's see Colombia not as a headline, but as a living, breathing place, complex, contradictory, and determined to move forward. Join us as we journey beyond the headlines to discover the real Colombia, a country writing its own story every day. Colombia's global image is still haunted by its violent past, but that's only part of the story. Cities like Bogotá, Medellin, and Cartagena are now hubs of innovation, art, and gastronomy. Medellin, once infamous, is now a model for urban transformation and social progress. Bogotá's art scene and world-class restaurants reflect a modern, forward-looking capital. These realities rarely make international headlines, but they define daily life for millions. To truly understand Colombia, we must discard old stereotypes and recognize its resilience and cultural richness. Colombia's journey is not one of perpetual darkness, but of inspiring progress and hope. The US-Colombia alliance, once rock-solid, is now strained by political shifts and clashing drug policies. President Petro's push for a new approach to the drug war, focusing on rural development and public health, clashes with the Trump administration's hardline stance. Tensions peaked when the US revoked Petro's visa after a controversial protest, signaling deep divisions. This rift threatens vital US aid and complicates Colombia's position in a turbulent region. As Colombia faces internal challenges, it must also navigate this unpredictable partnership. The future of the alliance hangs in the balance, demanding careful diplomacy from both sides. The stakes for Colombia's security and prosperity have never been higher. Colombia's fate is deeply tied to Venezuela's ongoing crisis. The two countries share not only a long, porous border, but also a complex history of migration, trade, and political tension. What happens in Venezuela inevitably ripples across Colombia, shaping its society, economy, and security landscape in profound ways. Nearly 3 million Venezuelan refugees have sought safety in Colombia, straining public services and resources. Colombian cities and towns near the border have seen their populations swell almost overnight as families flee hunger, violence, and economic collapse. Schools, hospitals, and shelters are overwhelmed, and local communities are struggling to provide basic necessities. The humanitarian response has been immense, but the needs continue to grow, putting pressure on Colombia's already limited infrastructure. The recent US military intervention in Venezuela, including the capture of Nicolas Maduro, has shocked the region. The sudden shift in power has created uncertainty and fear, not just in Venezuela but throughout Latin America. For many Colombians, the presence of foreign troops so close to home is both unsettling and unprecedented, raising questions about sovereignty and the potential for wider conflict. For Colombia, this could mean eventual stability, or new security threats with foreign troops next door. The border, already a hotspot for smuggling and armed groups, is now even more volatile. Colombian authorities are on high alert, worried about the possibility of violence spilling over, or new waves of refugees seeking safety. The drug trade, already intertwined across borders, is now further complicated by U.S. actions in Venezuela. Criminal organizations are adapting quickly, shifting routes and alliances to take advantage of the chaos. The risk of increased trafficking and violence is real, as both countries struggle to control their territories and protect their citizens. President Petro claims a U.S. bombing of a cocaine factory in Maracaibo is linked to Colombian networks, highlighting the criminal economy's cross-border nature. The incident has sparked debate within Colombia about the effectiveness and consequences of foreign intervention, and whether it truly addresses the root causes of the drug trade or simply pushes the problem further underground. With the U.S. now controlling Venezuelan territory and oil, Colombia faces new uncertainties in its fight against drug trafficking. The balance of power in the region has shifted, and Colombia must navigate a new reality where its neighbors' resources and politics are under foreign control. This could affect everything from energy prices to diplomatic relations. The government must balance its relationship with the U.S., protect national security, and manage the ongoing humanitarian crisis. Every decision is fraught with risk, as leaders weigh the need for international support against the desire to maintain sovereignty and stability at home. The stakes have never been higher for Colombia's policymakers. Venezuela's future is the single biggest external factor shaping Colombia's stability. Political analysts warn that any misstep could trigger further unrest, economic shocks, or even armed conflict. Ordinary Colombians watch the news anxiously, knowing that their own lives are closely linked to the fate of their neighbor. As events unfold, Colombia must tread carefully to safeguard its own future. The government is monitoring the situation hour by hour, preparing for every possible scenario. The choices made in the coming weeks and months will shape the country's destiny for years to come. The stakes are high, and every decision could have lasting consequences. For millions of Colombians, the uncertainty is personal, affecting jobs, families, and the hope for a better tomorrow. The region watches, uncertain of what comes next. Leaders across Latin America are calling for dialogue and restraint, hoping to avoid a wider crisis. But the path forward is unclear, and the world is watching closely. Colombia's resilience will be tested as never before. Communities are coming together to support one another, but the challenges ahead are immense. The spirit of solidarity and determination will be crucial in weathering the storm. The next chapter is unwritten and full of risk. Colombia stands at a crossroads, facing choices that will define its future and the future of the entire region. On January 7, 2026, Presidents Trump and Petro spoke by phone, a rare moment of direct dialogue between the leaders of the United States and Colombia. The world watched closely as the two presidents, often at odds, finally broke their silence. The call was not just a diplomatic formality, it was a pivotal event, carrying the weight of months of uncertainty and speculation about the future of U.S.-Colombia relations. After months of tension and uncertainty, the call was described by officials as positive, an encouraging sign for many. For business owners, families, and everyday citizens, it hinted at a possible thaw in relations, offering a glimmer of hope that the economic and political strain might finally ease. Across Colombia, people gathered around televisions and radios, eager for any sign of progress. Yet, beneath the surface, significant disagreements remain unresolved. Nowhere is this more apparent than in Colombia's rural heartland, where farmers face daily uncertainty. U.S. demands for tougher drug enforcement clash with Colombia's efforts to support crop substitution and rural development. For these communities, the stakes are high. Livelihoods and futures hang in the balance. The phone call represents both an opportunity for renewed cooperation and a stark reminder of the immense pressure Colombia faces on the international stage. Diplomats and officials now scramble to build on this fragile opening, hoping to turn words into meaningful action. For millions of Colombians, this single conversation could shape the economy, influence security, and affect personal ties between the two nations. The outcome will ripple through marketplaces, homes, and communities, touching lives in ways both visible and unseen. Across the country, anticipation is mixed with anxiety. Many wonder if this fragile opening will lead to real, lasting progress, or if it will prove to be just a temporary pause in a long and strained relationship. The uncertainty is palpable, and hopes are cautiously guarded. The stakes are both personal and national. Every Colombian is watching, waiting, and hoping that this moment marks the beginning of a new chapter. A U.S. bombing of a cocaine lab in Venezuela has brought the drug war's new reality into sharp focus for Colombians. The fight against drugs now crosses borders, with criminal groups shifting operations and communities caught in the crossfire. President Petro's total peace plan faces criticism at home and abroad, as Washington grows impatient with his approach. For many, the conflict feels closer than ever, fueling debate over which strategy will bring real peace. The drug problem is a moving target, complicating law enforcement and daily life. Colombia's struggle for peace is now shaped by forces far beyond its borders. Amid political turmoil, Colombia's women's national soccer team brings the nation together. Las Chicas Superpoderosas inspire pride after reaching the Copa America Femenina final and now prepare for the She Believes Cup in the U.S. Their journey unites Colombians across divides, inspiring young girls and the diaspora alike. The upcoming match against the U.S. is more than a game. It's a celebration of identity and hope. For a few hours, worries fade as the country cheers for its team. The women's team is a symbol of progress and opportunity for all. In sport, Colombia finds unity, pride, and a glimpse of its best self. The world sees a different Colombia, one of passion and resilience. Beyond politics, Colombia's true spirit is found in its vibrant culture and unbreakable resilience. Music, dance, and art, shaped by indigenous European and African roots, define daily life and bring communities together. From cumbia to salsa, creativity pulses through the nation, inspiring new generations of artists and storytellers. Despite decades of conflict, Colombians remain optimistic, entrepreneurial, and welcoming. This resilience fuels transformation in cities, sports, and business. It's not ignorance of problems, but a belief in a better future that drives Colombia forward. The culture and spirit of its people are Colombia's greatest strengths. They are building a new narrative, one of hope, creativity, and progress. This is the untold story of Colombia in 2026. As of January 8, 2026, Colombia stands at a pivotal crossroads. Political tensions, Venezuela's crisis, and the drug war are daunting challenges. But Colombia is defined by its momentum, its drive for peace, innovation, and cultural pride. The path ahead will be difficult with setbacks and uncertainty, yet the resilience and hope of its people remain unshaken. The future will be shaped not just by leaders, but by millions of ordinary Colombians. The world has often misunderstood Colombia by focusing on its painful past. But the most important chapter is being written now, a story of peace, progress, and renewal. Colombia's next chapter is full of promise.